Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. This video is a brief wintry December tour of my backyard garden space in Raleigh, North Carolina, Zone 7B. I've got the drone up above my head. Don't know if you can actually hear it in the microphone, but you'll see. Hopefully this will go back and forth and this goes well so you can see the layout of the land. Still got quite a few things blooming here in December. I've had two hard freezes. I think you can see how great the vegetable garden looks over there. It's bright and super bright and green. I'll pick some broccoli here toward the end of this video. Some of the showier elements that are still out here are some of the gold items. And you guys know how much I love gold plants or chartreuse plants. The gold sedum and the sunshine ligustrum are super showy out here. The Everillo carex that's to my right is another example of that. The Miss Lemon Abelia that's on the back edge of the lawn. There's some Mojo Pittosporum back there that we'll see in just a second. And then if we come around, I'll try to walk slowly so we don't make anyone dizzy. This gold St. John's wort also just fantastic. You know, these little pops of gold aren't just great in your summer garden, but they really stand out. The evergreen ones all stand out in the winter. One thing, I've put up several bulb videos recently, and so there's tons of bulbs. So there's going to be tons of color coming up here in the early spring. The other thing that will be for the early spring are pansies are planted everywhere. And that's pretty much the only two things I worry about here with the leaves is I keep them off the lawn and I keep them out of the pansies. And so these pansies right here don't have much color on them, but they are greener than when I put them in, a little more established, and so that's the whole point. They'll absolutely take off here in the late winter, and be beautiful in the springtime. What else looks great out here? My lettuce bowls. You know, I showed this you know, earlier this year. This was lettuce that was done from seed in the house, and you can see just how perfect this is. I mean, you can get several meals out of this. I do try to keep the leaves out of my bowls like this, just in case I end up with any slugs. And there's actually garlic planted in this bowl as well. If we head back around, hate to spin folks around. My October Magic Orchid Camellia Sasanqua is almost done because it's an early blooming Sasanqua. It's almost Christmas time, and so that one's pretty much wrapped up. There may be a couple more buds that open on it. It's got the white and pink combo. Perhaps my current favorite Camellia Sasanqua variety, and it was beautiful all fall long. One of my variegated Daphne. This is a white flowering variegated Daphne. Is starting to bud up. Amazing that they form the buds in the winter time. Beautiful plant. Got some cabbage under my palm. Out here. Need to get the leaves out of that. That's what I'm saying about the containers. I think the leaves need to be pulled out of those. Let's see, moving around this way, I think from up in the drone view, you can see the paths back here, how to navigate this space. I just keep those raked off, the lawn raked off, and again, I'll blow them out of the pansies. If we can get a little bit of a close-up in here, you can see how this garlic is growing quickly. Garlic's pretty easy as long as you've got a well-drained, kind of loose soil space. Pretty easy, and most of your chewing animals that like to chew don't really like the smell of it. So hopefully it deters critters as well. I don't know. Slightly skeptical of that, but maybe we'll see. We'll see if these pansies over here that don't have garlic in them may get eaten by the rabbits a little more than this. We'll see. How that actually works out. A lot of evergreen elements that I didn't have last winter. So there's Loropetalum, Emerald Snow Loropetalum, which I did a video on recently. And I will go through here and take a rake or a blower or by hand or whatever and throw the leaves out of those that just fell on them in the last week. Dwarf Pittosporum, beautiful plant. I have that in an upcoming shade plant video that I shot down at Swift Creek Nursery. And if I go around to the back again from up above, you can see, how this path works. There's some taller elements down the middle of this bed that will eventually create a screen, so people will have to come back here in order to see what's back in this area. October Magic Ruby blooms a little bit later than October Magic Orchid, and so it's still flowering and still has some buds to open on the warmer days. Supposed to have 70-degree days this week, and my farfugium that has been budded up for several weeks is finally starting to open some flowers. I was a little nervous that we were just going to stay cold and it wouldn't happen, but this giant farfugium blooms a little later than some of the other farfugium, and so here we are finally. I think a couple 70-degree days this week, and this will be solid yellow. That's warm enough for the bees to fly too, so it'll have pollinators on it as well. Another great thing in a winter garden is rosemary. That blue-green foliage is fantastic on that corner. That variety is called Chef's Choice, and you can see the reason I actually like it is because it only gets about 2.5 feet tall, and it just spreads outward, and so I can take and just control the width, and the height is kind of self-controlling. I like that about that one. Some of the other varieties of rosemary either get this big, or they're ground covers, and some of the ground cover ones, the rosemary just doesn't taste very good, so I don't understand the point of those. Florida Sunshine Alyssium, another standout in a winter garden. I mean, maybe the brightest element in the garden. This is that early wonder Camellia japonica, so it's kind of a fall into Christmas, January blooming Camellia japonica. Blooms earlier than other ones. Again, I'll come through here and just clean the leaves off. I was out of town for about a week, and most of my leaves dropped at that time. This variegated cast iron plant, another great element in the winter garden. Different kind of texture than the other things that are around it. Got the beautiful striping in it. If you have any old leaves on them, this is the time of year you can just cut them right down to the base and leave the more vigorous, shiny growth that was 2021's growth. I'll leave 2022's growth needs to be cut down to the ground, or 2020's growth needs to be cut down to the ground. Of course, 2020 probably needed to be cut down to the ground, honestly. Another item that's about to really show off is this Marvel Mahonia, which has gotten almost taller than I want it. So after it blooms this time, I'm probably going to come down in here and cut it about 2 feet of height out of it, and that'll branch it a little bit more. But this thing's going to be, man, when this thing starts to open. And in fact, some of the flowers have started to open here on it. Beautiful plant. A couple other cast iron plants back here. Hellebores that will start blooming as early as January in my area, depending on the weather. They're a little buried in leaves, but the new growth will just poke right through that. No problem at all. If you have old hellebores, they'll be tattered like this as well. And when you start to see that new growth coming from the center of them, which this one is right here, you see this? There's new growth coming right there. Once that new growth starts to poke up through the leaves, this old growth can be cut off. This old growth will just be at that point stealing from its ability to put on new growth and flowers for the spring. So that's when I clean them up. Those of you in zone like 5, they probably just die to the ground anyway. But here they'll stay evergreen, but the parts that stayed need to be cut off when the new growth is coming. Got a Pieris back here that needs to be cleaned up, but you can see how showy this thing's going to be in January. Look at all the flower buds that are on it. Finally happy. This area back here has got a lot of root competition and hasn't been the happiest place, but it's finally now rooted in enough that it can compete with the tree. Got another Camellia sasanqua in this spot. My other farfugium that bloomed, here's an example. You know, this one just blooms earlier, and it's got seed heads on it now. I've never tried to germinate these, and so I may collect a few of these and see how well they germinate. I'm assuming pretty readily. We'll see. I'm gonna give them a try. But I think overall the winter space back here is looking great. Let's go over to the vegetable garden and I'll show you some broccoli. Before we move over to the vegetable garden, I wanted to show you a couple of plants that look beautiful in my winter garden that are upcoming releases. Actually, this barberry is called Luton Rouge, and you can see here in December just how showy this is. This is a dwarf barberry. Really won't get much taller than this. It'll just get wider, but really, really beautiful. It's been fantastic in the garden all year. I haven't shown it because, like I say, it's an upcoming release. And then this Mahonia here, this thing's called Beijing Beauty, and I really, really like this plant. It looks very, very prickly, and I guess, I mean, if you could figure out a way to make it hurt you, but it's not as bad as it actually looks. It's bloomed. Gosh, it's been in the ground here over a year. It's probably bloomed more than half of that period of time, and it's got the berry set on it now. So it's got the purple berries, had the yellow flowers, that had the pollinators on it. It's just a great plant that I wanted to point out, and a great winter interest plant. I think that thing's going to be very, very popular in gardens, in part shade gardens. I do pile up. There's a bunch of leaves here that are extra that I've raked off the paths, and they're sitting along here. It doesn't look great right this minute, but when the rest of my cool season vegetables come out, I will put leaves over that space as well. My netting for the rabbit netting will come down. Leaves will go in there. All the weeds, everything will be knocked back in this space, and it'll just be, again, I'll use the leaves to overwinter and improve my soil during the winter time. Harvesting collards like crazy. They've been really great. I've got some pak choi here as well, same thing. Super easy to prepare, always available in the garden, easy to root, easy to grow, as long as you protect them, again, from the rabbits. Lettuces are pretty much done, but my broccoli is now starting to really, really fill out pretty quickly. Let me show you one right here. If I can get this cut off. Here's one of my heads of broccoli. This was just done from seed in the house. It's about perfect timing on it before any of the flowers start to open. But I'm going to get quite a few out of here. At this point, once they start heading like this, I may have to throw a sheet or something over them. If it was going to be below maybe 27 or something like that, somewhere in there, that they might get hurt. Kale at the end, another thing that's just easy to cook down, just like the collards. Kohlrabi, a little bit of kohlrabi left. If you haven't tried kohlrabi, I really like it. It's, to me, better than, it's beet-like, but to me actually better. And it's super, super decorative. I imagine those in containers would look great as well if you wanted to, something that's just super, super interesting. Most people wouldn't know what it is. So there's a brief look into the backyard garden space. This project is very, very much ongoing. All kinds of changes coming up here in 2022, so I hope you're subscribed to the channel to see that. I guess this backyard project we're about 2 years into now, including the shed and screen porch and lots of, everything, literally everything that's back here. And I think by the end of 22, it's going to be, almost have a done stamp on it, hopefully. So follow along with me. Thanks.